Good evening.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm super excited to be here and we're going to learn some Portuguese. Are we all ready?
We're ready.
Already? Okay, nice. Let me see if I can share my screen here so we can start our lesson. Can you all see my screen? I hope so. Yeah, all good. So, bem-vindos. Welcome, everyone. So we're going to do a lesson. It's going to take around 1 hour, more or less. Feel free to drop your questions. It's the interaction. It's always good and helpful for the lesson. So we're going to learn 3 different topics here. And as well, I would like to say that you need some pen and paper to take some notes because lots of tips and tricks about the Portuguese language are about to be shared. Feel free to bring a drink, a snack, and of course, motivation, which I believe you already have because you're here. So what we will cover today, what's the agenda for the class? I prepared a short presentation about who I am and my teaching journey. So you get to know a bit more about my work and about myself as well as a person. And then we're going to move on to the lesson where we are going to learn the greetings, nasal sounds. They are very predominant in Portuguese, and 5 beginner phrases. All right. So, and we have a special gift by the end of the lesson. Oh, sorry, it's not 5 beginner phrases. It's the ways of saying goodbye. So who am I? My name is Anita da Silva and I am Portuguese. I was born and raised in a place in Alentejo Coast here in Portugal, but I've been living in the Algarve, so in the south of Portugal, for more than 25 years now, so most of my life. And I've been a teacher for 19 years so far, turning 20 now in 2025. Oh my gosh, so exciting. I love animals. You probably will see during the class my dog popping up because he loves to show up. He's a star. And I love traveling, languages. So I speak, of course, Portuguese, English, a little bit of French, a little bit of German, and I've been learning Spanish in the last year. So in 2024, I was learning Spanish, and I'm very happy now because I've reached the intermediate level. So yes, big milestone. I love tea and chocolate. So those are some secrets about me. My teaching journey. So I'm qualified in teaching both English and Portuguese, but I started to teach Portuguese right back in 2005 when I finished my first university degree. And making a long story short, I was teaching in many different places, private schools, international schools. And before I started the project Portuguese with Anita, 3 years before that, I was the pedagogical director of an international school here in the Algarve. And then I decided there was time to fly on my own. And it was right when the pandemic started. So I saw there the opportunity to switch my teaching to the online platforms so I could reach out to more people who wanted to learn this beautiful language. And during the last 2-3 years of my life, I created 6 self-paced courses. The first one was launched in 2022. So I can, again, help more people at the same time with different time zones, people who are in the States, Canada, South Africa, Asia, etc. I have more than 4,000 students right now in my courses from all over the planet. So that's the magic of the internet. It allows us to, to connect with more people at the same time and to reach all parts of the world. And you probably saw me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube as well, and Xiangshu in China as well, social media platforms where I built a community of more than 150,000 followers all over the platforms. As Portuguese with Anita only, okay? No added numbers or anything to the name of my accounts. Portuguese with Anita. So apart from all of these, that keeps me busy, of course, I'm also an author. So I create children's books for them to learn their first words in Portuguese through coloring and connecting words, etc. And I also develop puzzle books for adults where you can learn vocabulary through word search, crosswords, missing vowels, scrambled words, etc. So in a fun and interactive way, always. So if you want to take a look at my books, they're normally on Amazon. So, and they are available in the States, UK, all over the world, basically. So that's basically about me. I don't know if anyone has any other question. I was featured in many articles already, especially here in Portugal, in the Portugal News, Pulse Notícias, Central Magazine, Portugal Director as well, She Sapiens. So some of the places where I was already featured. And that's basically it. I hope it summarized a bit of my work, about my personality, and about my career as well. So I hope you're all ready to learn Portuguese, because we're going to start with the greetings. Yes. So the greetings, saudações. That's how we say it in Portuguese. Saudações. Such a long word with nasal sounds, eh? Saudações. So the first one, of course, is bom dia. Bom dia means good morning. So in capitals there, you see it how it's written, B-O-M and then D-I-A. And then below you have the phonetic transcription for the ones who are interested in the phonetic transcription. If that helps you to pronounce it better, there you go. So let's start from scratch. So there are at least 3 aspects we need to know about each greeting. In my opinion, as a teacher, and from the results I see in my students, knowing things in a basic way, or knowing things from its nature, it's very important to memorize words. So first of all, the word dia, that means day. We normally use this as good morning, but if you translate it literally, it means good day. The word dia, once again, means day translated to English. And there are 2 genders in Portuguese. You have the masculine and the feminine gender. Meaning this, that will be words where you can put it in the feminine gender group, and words that you can put it in the masculine gender group. Normally, generally, but not all the time, words that end with A are generally feminine, and words that end with O are, once again, generally masculine. There will be exceptions to this rule, and unfortunately, the word dia is an exception to this rule. So it's going to be masculine and not feminine, okay? So that's why many people do mistakes when greeting people good morning. And they say boa dia, thinking that dia, because it ends with an A, it's going to be feminine. And it's bom dia. Okay, so this is the first thing we need to know about this. Bom dia, masculine greeting. So bom means good in the masculine. Another tip, the pronunciation tip, is that every single word in Portuguese that ends with M, it's going to be nasal. So you're going to do bom, bom, like a circled O with your mouth, not bomb, okay? Your lips don't touch each other after finishing the word. That is incorrect. You do bom dia, bom dia. Deal? Bom dia? Easy? So far, so good? The third aspect of the greeting, and one that I get asked a lot. When do we use bom dia in Portugal? Well, let me tell you what I learned with my grandpa when I was a kid. This is the way I was taught, but it does not necessarily means that you're going to have to follow the same way, because people have these cultural aspects that sometimes, depends from region to region, etc. So what he explained to me is that bom dia, it's going to be used from the moment you wake up until you eat your lunch. Okay, so after lunch, after having the lunch in your tummy, you switch to boa tarde, which means good afternoon. But like I mentioned before, it depends, because there are people who don't have lunch or have a later lunch, so they start to say boa tarde like around 2 p.m., for example. So it's pretty much feel it. Okay, feel it. See what you should say. Or copy other people. Follow the crowd. Okay? So when you switch to boa tarde, you have a feminine word. Tarde ends with E. So it's part of a group of words, or actually some words, that it's difficult to determine if they are feminine or masculine. We just have to learn it as we learn the word in order to memorize it. So tarde means afternoon, and it's going to be a feminine word in Portuguese. So that means when you're using the word good, you have to switch it as well to the feminine because it needs to agree in number and gender. So boa tarde. The E, it's going to be low in the end of the word. Tarde, tarde. And once again, just below the word, you have the transcription, the phonetic transcription. Okay? So boa tarde. Right. When do we use it? That's what we're missing now. We're going to use it, again, like I mentioned before, either after you have your lunch or after 2 p.m., I would say, more or less, until we have good evening and good night. And let me tell you that in Portuguese, you only have one option for these two options in English. In English, you have the good evening and you have good night or night, right? When it's bedtime, when you're leaving a place, when you're saying good night to someone as you're leaving the place. In Portugal, you have boa noite for both. So whenever it starts to get dark or whenever you have your dinner, so you decide if you want to use the meal as some sort of, point to switch it, or whenever it gets dark. Okay? So boa noite. And noite, that means night, it's also feminine in Portuguese. So we're going to say boa noite. This is very important. The knowledge behind, the grammar behind the greeting will help you as adults to memorize it. Okay? Let's repeat. Bom dia. Boa tarde. Boa noite. Okay, so far so good? Is that a way to see if anyone is asking anything? Let me see. No, I can't see any comments, so I assume everything is good.
Yeah, we just had one question about where they could buy your books, and I think you had said Amazon.
Amazon, yeah. If they want, they can text me on my Portuguese with Anita Facebook or Instagram, and I'll send them the direct link. Okay?
Okay.
Super. Thank you so much. Obrigada. Next step. Olá! What is olá? Olá, it's the most beautiful and elegant way to say hello. And it's the official Portuguese hello. Many people assume that we say hola with the H sound there, like the Spanish. Don't do that. Portuguese people don't like that. A cultural advice. Okay? So you're going to do a big O and a big A. So you have an accent on top of the A, and that accent is showing you exactly how you should expel the sound. And in that way, in that direction, it means that it's very open. So, hola, 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 okay? Hola. It's also a fantastic brand of ice cream in Portugal. Olá a todos. So I wanted to share this trick with you. Why is that? So, olá, ou bom dia, ou boa tarde, ou boa noite, any of the greetings that we previously learned in this lesson, if you want, imagine you're getting in a room with lots of people and you don't want to be greeting everyone individually. You want to be able to say, hello, everyone, right? Like you say in English, hello, everyone, good morning, everyone. So what you can do is to use a todos. A todos literally translates to everyone, to all. So once again, if you mix it with olá, with bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, you are greeting everyone at the same time and you choose the greeting. So, olá a todos, bom dia a todos, boa tarde a todos, boa noite a todos. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Very important tip regarding the pronunciation of the word todos. The S in the end of the word is going to be a sh sound. Todos, todos. Ok? Olá a todos. Olá a todos. Ok? Tudo bem? All good? Sometimes people ask me, Anita, what do you think about oi? Oi is informal. Okay? Oi is very informal. So it's something like, hey. So, and it's even considered to be slang in the Portuguese culture. Okay? So you only use oi if you are a teenager, if you are speaking to someone you're very familiar with, like your friends, your family members. Okay, I don't suggest to use oi when you go, for example, to your working place and you speak to your boss or in a business situation. Oi, again, it's considered to be informal in Portugal. Super informal, super slangy. On the other hand, for the ones who are learning Brazilian Portuguese, for example, it's a normal greeting in Brazil. But once again, not in Portugal, okay? I would replace it if I want to cause a good impression with olá, okay? Olá. Good. So, olá, olá a todos. Oi, oi, kind of sounds like an interjection for me, you know, like when I've learned these, when I was learning English, I was told this is something like, oh, doesn't sound good. So I kind of associate the sound as well with the oi, oi, like you are, you know, it's not a good reaction. So then we can mix if you want to show off, starting from today. If you want to show off your Portuguese, you can start mixing the hello with the good morning, for example, to make longer sentences like Olá, bom dia, or Olá, boa tarde. Olá, boa noite. Okay? So let's repeat after me. Repetition is very good. Let's go. Olá, bom dia. Let's pretend I can hear you. Olá, boa tarde. Olá, boa noite. Muito bem, very well. So now I'm going to have to leave that task for our host because unfortunately I don't see your answers. But I'm going to ask you, how do we say, so you write it down in the comments there, how do you say good morning in Portuguese? Let's see who gets it right. So again, our host will have the job to correct.
Yeah, so you could probably write it as a question.
Okay.
Lucio, Mary, or Victoria. I
Say again, sorry?
was just our attendees, I was saying they could write it in the Q&A section.
Uh-huh. Ah,
Since
nice.
yeah. So Victoria said bom dia.
Okay, very good. I cannot see the Q&A. I don't know. It's not allowing me to see it. All right, so it is bom dia. Muito bem. Second question. What is the nicest way to say hello? Is it olá or oi? Oh, I see the
Victoria said hola.
Olá, Victoria is a fantastic student. Look at her.
And then Lucy also said bom dia for the first question. So good job.
Muito bem. So bom dia means good morning, and the nice way to say hola, to say hello in Portuguese, the elegant way is definitely hola. Muito bem. Super. I think we all ready for the second topic. So we are going to go for a pronunciation mini lesson. This is very, very important. Normally, one of the things that when my students get to, to me in the beginning is one of the biggest struggles they have is with the nasal sounds. They are so abundant in the Portuguese language. You have nasal sounds everywhere. You could see now, for example, in the good morning, bom dia. Bom, it's nasal. So it's everywhere in the language. So we need to master it. So I'm bringing you 3 very important things about this. So let's go. And first of all, what are nasal sounds? Nasal sounds are sounds that come from a teamwork, let's put it this way, between our nose and our mouth, or throat, of course, together. Okay, so it's a combination of these elements in our face, in our body, and they create these unique sounds. So let's learn how we can see them in the language. The first one, and let's say, which is the one you're going to find more commonly, is represented with A and O, the O, and we're going to read it as ow, ow. My students always laugh because I say you have to do a T-Rex mouth, like you're hunting something. If you want to do it slow motion so you can master the movement, of course, this is part of the process to have fun, to do some face yoga, to learn Portuguese. So, comes from the back there. The sound is expelled and it returns to the starting point. And you can find it in words like bread, lemon, and dog, just like you see here. And I call out your attention as well for the word being in bold there, and then you have the phonetic transcription just down below for the ones who like to see it. So, and you also see the O before those words. Let's start with that. So the O there before the words pão, limão, and cão represents the in the masculine in Portuguese. Remember previously when I was explaining the greetings that you're going to find 2 different genders in Portuguese language? There you go, feminine and masculine. So the masculine, the, it's represented by the O that you're going to read as U. And the feminine is going to be represented by the A, okay? So that means the bread, the lemon, the dog, okay? In the masculine, because these 3 words are all masculine in Portuguese, typically ending with O, like I mentioned before as well. So let's go. O pão. Make sure you make this one very nasal, otherwise you're saying something cheeky. There are a lot of misunderstandings with this word, okay? So it can be like a cheeky word for penis in Portuguese if you don't do it nasally. So make sure you do it nasally when you're asking for bread, okay? So pão, it's the wonders of the Portuguese language. O pão, pão, pão. O limão, limão. O cão, o cão. Okay, so again, make sure you do this one nasal as well, otherwise it sounds like you're saying cow, okay? So cão, o cão. So again, repeat after me. O pão. Kind of feel a vibration. If you do it slowly, like pão, pão, okay? O pão, o limão, O cão. O cão. Okay? So far, so good? Do I have any questions?
No, but Victoria said that the upão is the word she's always afraid of because of the, if you don't pronounce it,
Yes.
but it could mean something else. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes, make sure that you say it nasally. What my students do, and this is a technique that I can share with you, no problem. It's basically they, in the first attempts, well, of course, before they go in public, they practice by themselves. So what they do is they do this. They cover their nose like this, pow, pow, pow. And then later on, they start to feel more confident and they start to let go of their nose, of course. So this can be a technique that you can use, to say bread correctly and not something else. I have so many funny stories from my students with this word. You wouldn't believe. It's insane. And of course, the most famous and probably expressed word in Portuguese is não. Não. That means no. 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 How important is to say no? No. No. Okay. Next sound. This one is represented by the A, and there's that tilde. We call it a tilde, or til in Portuguese. And that represents, of course, the nasal part. Whenever you see it in a word, so you know automatically the word has this nasal power. Let's call it this way. So combined with the E, it creates the sound ein, ein, ein. Your lips don't touch. Your mouth does not close. Okay? It's like uh, uh, this and the top of your mouth. Ein, ein. I always explain to my students the sound in a way that imagine your reaction if someone hurts you, like ein, ein. That's exactly the sound you do, right? So mãe, the mother. So now you have the in the feminine, the A there. And you're not going to open it like you're going to do deal? So mãe, mother, feminine. So here the human represents the gender of the word. Mother, feminine, father, masculine, and so on. Grandpa, masculine, granny, feminine. So just a tip for the future. And then it's also common in the words that you see there, like in the plural. Remember bread? Pão. Now in the plural is pães. Okay, so you're going to add the S to both the article, the O, the masculine plural, and pães with the S in the end as well. Okay? Together, os pães. Os pães. Okay? Same strategy with the dogs. So OS for the masculine plural, the article in the plural, in the masculine. Dogs, cães, with the S in the end. Okay? So once again, I, it's the sound represented in these three words that is going to be written just like you see there in red. The A with a little wave, so the tilde, and the E. And then you have the word a mãe. Os pães. Os cães. I have great news if you think this is challenging. And the great news are that this is not very, I'm not going to say common, but you don't see many words with this, okay? So it's just these main words here, unless you need to say the word mother a lot. And our third sound, oi. Now we have the O, once again with the tilde on top of the O, and the E. And it's like oi. I bet that when you were kids, you used to listen to those nursery rhymes from Old MacDonald had a farm. And then the pig goes oink, oink, right? Oink, oink. So the oink, oink from the pig, it's very similar to this sound here. Oink, oink, oink. And normally people say, oh, I don't have that sound in English. Well, you do in songs for sure, but you didn't notice it was there, okay? So you're already doing it without realizing at some point of your life you were doing it. It's there, bring it back. So, oink, oink. Like an extension, your nose goes down, on, and then back, oink, oink, okay? And it's very common in words where you have the plural of words that previously ended with AO. Not all of them, but the majority of words that end with AO, with the tilde, the ON, are going to be OI in the plural, like balloons, lemons, airplanes, okay? OS, as you can see for the plural, os balões, os limões, os aviões. Okay? Is this challenging? I am curious to know which one of these three nasal combinations you find the most challenging one. So the ão, like pão, limão, cão, não, or a mãe, os pães, os cães, or the third one, os balões, os limões, os aviões. And that is my question for you. I want to know which one is the most challenging one for you.
Victoria says the OE combo, the OI.
Oin. Okay. Oh, you said it so well. Well done.
A little practice.
That's very nice. Okay, Victoria, I totally understand why you think that is so difficult, because it's like your facial muscles have to go, a bit more than with the others. Only, we make this ugly face, only, right? Okay, so nasal sounds, check. Anyone has any question about this part? Nothing? I don't see the notifications popping up. So I guess we're fine. All right. So our third topic and the last topic of the lesson is ways of saying goodbye. I thought this would be very interesting, as we were learning the greetings. So ways of saying goodbye. So there are multiple options to say see you later, see you in a minute, etc., etc. So in Portuguese, it couldn't be different. Of course, we had to have multiple ways to say it as well. So let's go. So let's go to our first one. Adeus, 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 adeus. So again, the word ends with S, so you're going to do a sh sound. And once again, just to remind you that you have the word in bold and capital letters, and then you have the transcription, the phonetic transcription for the ones who are interested in that, and then the translation, of course. So adeus goes literally for goodbye in English. And funny enough is that if you separate the word, like if you separate the A from Deus, you would have something like to God. Deus means God. So it's funny to see this sometimes, and it helps us to memorize the word later on. Adeus, it's a word that we Portuguese, as we are these very nostalgic people, we have this nostalgic culture because we were, we had this background of discovering the world. Many of our men died in the sea, so we have this sorrow, this longing, this feeling. And adeus, it's very common in our poetry, in our songs, and in particular in fado music. Many fado singers have these lyrics with adeus, 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 the eternal goodbye, right? So adeus literally means goodbye. Okay, adeus. The following one is a very practical one. I personally use it all the time, and it's até já. Very strong J. The J is very strong. It comes from your abs here, from your diaphragm. Já, 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 okay? Até já. As you can see, this sentence has two different accents. The first accent is on top of the E to show us that we should emphasize that E, meaning this to open it, full power, até, até, and then another one on top of the A, so we do the same procedure to the A. We open the vowel fully, the letter fully. Até já, até já. It's very eloquent, I would say. That's probably why people love it so much. It's a positive way to say, see you shortly, see you soon. That's what it means. Até já means, for example, how do I use it? I use it, imagine my friend is calling me right now, and we're going for a coffee in 1 or 2 hours. So when I'm saying goodbye, I would use this one, até já, Katia, because I'm going to see her soon. Okay, so this is how it's commonly used in our day-to-day life. Até já. Be aware that Portugal is not an exception, and speakers are not an exception to what happens in other languages as well. Not everyone is so clear when speaking the language daily. Some people eat the first A and they say até já. Okay, it's very common, especially when people are rushing. And once again, you will find all sorts of speakers. So don't expect sometimes people to be so clear as I am right now, because I'm teaching you the right way. Okay, so até já can be pronounced sometimes as até já. All right, hope it makes sense. Até breve. This is super confusing for especially English speakers because it translates to the same thing, see you soon. So what's the difference? The difference is exactly what I mentioned before for the até já, that it's commonly used in our day-to-day lives if you're going to see the person very shortly. Até breve, you don't really know exactly when you're going to see the person. So I use até breve, for example, me again personally. I use até breve if I go to a shop and I want to say goodbye because I don't know when I'm going to return to that shop. So até breve. Até bre, big E there after the R. Até breve. The E in the end doesn't have any accent, so you're gonna put it low. V. Até breve. Até breve. It's also very common. I don't know if you ever been to Portugal and crossed the border, for example, to Spain, because that's the only country we have a border with. I said, for example, but yeah, you know what I mean. So, for example, when we cross the border to Spain, you have this big, huge sign on top saying "Até breve." Because why? Because we don't know when the people who are passing there are coming back. So it's a way to say see you soon, but not exactly I know when. Okay, hope it makes sense. Até breve. And once again, you can hear sometimes people saying até breve. Some people will eat the first A there. Okay? Até breve. Até logo. Another one that is super common in our daily routine. Até logo means see you later. You can use até já and até logo interchangeably. To be honest with you, we don't really sometimes speak as we literally mean the time and the distance of time that we're going to see or not the other person with these two expressions. So até logo can be later in the day, Até já can be a little bit shorter in time, but if you say até logo and you're just going to see the person in 1 hour, it's totally fine, okay? So don't freak out because of this, because we use it interchangeably all the time, all right? As long as you know how to say it properly and people understand you, it does not matter if you're going to see super later or sooner. So,
So I have a,
sorry, go.
I have a question. So would you say até logo and até já you use when there's actually a set time that you know you're going to see them, even if that's 2 hours or the next day? Whereas até breve is like, I don't actually know when I'm going to see you next.
Literally, or theoretically, yes. But
Okay.
in real life, sometimes we just say it because it's common to say it and that's
Okay.
it. So that's why sometimes I say for people not to put so much pressure when they're learning these expressions and just use them whatever, however they want, because native speakers do it without intention sometimes. I know people who say até logo and they're not going to see me in the same day, and they're going to see me probably another day, and they actually aware that they're going to see me another day, but still they say até logo. It's just a nice way to say see you later, see you
Okay.
sometime. Okay. These two, até já and até logo, I would say they are a bit more from everyday life. While in até breve, it's a bit more elegant, more formal. Okay? Hope it makes sense. Até amanhã, the longest one and the biggest nightmare because of the NH sound. So the NH is a ny sound. So até so the word starts growing in the beginning, amanhã. Até amanhã. Até amanhã. So it ends with a nasal sound. Ah, até amanhã. Once again, expect native speakers to make shortcuts. So you can hear sometimes até amanhã. They're going to eat the first A of both phrases. Both words. Okay? So até amanhã can sound até amanhã, multiple times. Okay? So até amanhã means see you tomorrow. Be careful with the word amanhã. If you drop the first A, it means morning, manhã. Okay? So amanhã means tomorrow. If you remove the first A, it means morning. Who's taking some notes of this lesson? I hope many students are taking some notes. Okay. Ciao. Ciao comes from the south of Italy regarding the history of the language. That's where it all started, apparently. And we use it for something like bye-bye. So it's a slang. It's not a formal way. I don't suggest to use ciao in a business environment, for example. I would use até breve or adeus. But this is super handy, and sometimes we even repeat it when saying it to friends or people we are familiar with, like ciao ciao. We like to do that a lot. So if you hear ciao ciao, it means bye bye. All right.
Victoria is taking notes, by the way. She wanted to.
Nice girl. Very good. And I think it's time to recap a little bit of what we've done here with the goodbyes. So adeus, literally goodbye, very formal. Até já, day-to-day life, interactions, conversation. Até já, we use it so much. See you soon, see you shortly. Até breve, nice formal way to say see you sometime, I would say. If I would have to translate it in my own words, knowing how we use it, I would translate it to something like see you sometime. Até logo, another one from our everyday interactions. See you later, alligator. Até amanhã. See you tomorrow. that once again, people say it so fast that it sounds just like one word. Até amanhã, okay? But we say it correctly. We want to sound super nice, so we say até amanhã.
Anybody
And
say, does anybody say até a próxima?
yes, you can say até a próxima for see you next time. I didn't put that one, but it's another way to say, you know, goodbye in a different way. See you sometimes. Well, see you next time. Até a próxima, because it's a shortcut of até a próxima vez. See you next time. But we do the shortcut. That's a very good one. Very interesting. Muito bem. So, who was the best student today?
I think it's Victoria, for sure.
The most participant one for sure. All right, so I guess it's time for the good students, all the students, to know how they can continue to learn Portuguese. So if you want to continue to learn Portuguese, I can tell you how my courses work like and how they look like actually as well. So, and I have a special, let's say, discount and promotion for the ones who are interested in enrolling tonight with us here as a special offer. So I mentioned before when I was talking about my teaching journey that in the last 2 to 3 years, now 3, because we're already 2025, unbelievable, time flies, that I created some self-paced courses. So the ones I bring you here is the beginners, the intermediate, and the advanced. So the 3 levels of the language, what I call the 3 levels of the language, because they take you from A1 level to C2 level, starting in the beginners with the A1 and finishing in the advanced course with the C2 level. And then I also bring you an option of my Portuguese Daily Conversations Master Course. This was a course that I developed in a later stage to help students to understand real life situations where you only have dialogues. This is only a dialogue course, this last one. So let's talk about the options a bit more into detail. So my courses are self-paced courses. So basically, it means that you can learn whenever you want, wherever you want. So if you are in the States, if you are in Canada, if you are in South Africa, South America, it does not matter. You can log in your course in your computer and you learn whenever you want. If you want to sit at the coffee, at the bus station, totally fine, as long as you have internet and the computer or a mobile phone or an iPad, you can access your course. So, for example, the 3 levels that I was mentioning before, the beginners, intermediate, and advanced master courses, combined together. So this is the 3 courses together. They are separate courses, but imagine that you're getting it as a bundle, as a package. You get 277 video lessons, and these lessons are not as long as tonight's lesson. Okay, so tonight's lesson, we were working on 3 different topics, but the course is divided into mini lessons. So each lesson is one different topic, either if it's pronunciation, grammar, culture, because you also have cultural lessons there, so you know about the culture at the same time as you're learning the language. You have quizzes to practice as you go, so in total you have more than 1,700 exercises within the 3 courses to practice. Dictation activities, listening activities, as it's so precious and important when you're learning Portuguese. And another great feature in my platform is that you can also download the PDFs of your lessons and all the flashcards that I included in the courses as well. The Daily Conversations Master Course, in other hand, like I was explaining before, it's a course that it's not a grammar course and it's not suitable for absolute beginners. This course is suitable if you already have completed at least A1 grammar level in Portuguese. Why is that? Because this is a dialogues course. You have multiple sections where you go and learn how to buy things in the supermarket, how to book doctor appointment, how to go to the dentist, how to go to your parents' meeting from your kids in the school, etc., etc. So all the everyday situations that you can possibly imagine. If you want, then I can also show you a little bit of how the course looks inside. What else do you get with any of these courses? Because normally what I saw myself as a learner of other languages myself and other things as well in the internet, what I saw was that there is no way for people to practice when they purchase a self-paced course. So I created strategies for my students to still have access to me. And honestly, my students have access to me every single day, as they're going to be added, if they wish, of course. This is not mandatory. We are adults. We can choose what we can do to practice. They're going to be added to a private community of learners where they practice every single day, either in writing, speaking. Sometimes they just there to know the dates that we are going to have live sessions, because you also have included in your courses some live sessions with me, at least 4 or 5 per month via Zoom. So you have the details once you purchase the courses to log into your conversation room. And there you can practice with me and the other students. You can ask me questions. You can send me homework as well, because in the courses there are some video lessons there where you have some homework and some tasks to do. So then you also have access to me to, for all of these things. So if you ever want to take a look, I will be sharing the QR code here in the end of the session as well. So you can see the page of the courses where you have the full curriculum. And there are reviews from my students on my Facebook page. If you go there, you can see. Apart from all of these features, with any of my courses, you have lifetime access, which means what? The login of your course will not expire in a way that you lose access after 1 month, 1 year, etc., etc. So you have the course there for you to redo as many times as you wish. So this is something that is very handy, especially for my senior students who feel the need sometimes to take a little revision on the content, especially on the pronunciation lessons, etc. You also have access for many devices. Like I mentioned before, you can access the course in your laptop, in your mobile phone, or your tablet, whatever you want. It's really, really suitable for everything. The platform is conceived to access it from any device. And apart from this, you are protected by this 14-day money-back refund policy in case you think the course is not for you for some reason. Just email me, text me, and I will refund you fully within the first 14 days. Okay? So risk-free. You have nothing to lose. So give it a go if you want to learn Portuguese. Oh, here are some reviews of my students. But again, you can see it into more detail, especially on my Facebook page. There's many happy students there. And in my highlights in the Instagram, there is also a highlight with the reviews. These are some examples of screenshots of messages they send me, or sometimes when people asking on the Facebook groups and they just recommend my courses. So what is the offer, guys? So for the ones who want to purchase, for example, the bundle, what do I call the bundle? The bundle is the combination of the beginner's course, the intermediate course, and the advanced master course to set you up completely from zero to fluency in Portuguese, European Portuguese, okay? So this is what it's included in the bundle, 3 courses. So you understand where you are. Basically, each course in my normal launches costs $297 each course, okay? So if you buy it in a normal launch, that is only actually 4 times per year. I don't have my courses open all the time, only in specific times of the year. So I can provide full attention to my students. As I told you, they have direct access to me every day. So I'm a very present teacher still, even if it's a self-paced course. So instead of paying $297 for each course, you only pay $497 and you have the 3 courses. So you're saving $400 off. Okay, so this is valid only for the next 72 hours after we finish this lesson. Then after that, the link will expire and the price will go back to $297 each. So this is a fantastic opportunity for the ones who want to be fully packed with the language. You also have the option in the page that I'm about to share with you as well of paying in installments. If for some reason you don't want to pay in one-time fee, the $497, you have set up in the system 6 monthly installments or payments of $87 only, okay? If you want to get only one course, I know that's going to be your next question for sure, you also have the chance there, once again, in the page. Imagine you just want the beginners, click in the beginners, and it's going to show you $100 off. Okay, so if you buy only one course, you also have a special discount. So instead of the normal $297, you pay $197. And once again, if for some reason you wanted split it into monthly payments, you also have the option of 3 monthly payments of $67, okay? All right, so again, only for the next 72 hours, okay? Otherwise, bye-bye special promotion. So how do you get it? So sorry, go again.
Victoria is asking, how long does it typically take people to go from the beginner to the immediate course? So like, does it take
Sorry, that has a lot to do with your availability. But what I normally recommend is people work on the courses 5 days per week and rest too. Resting is very important. Sometimes people think rushing and learning every day is going to be good for you, but it's just overwhelming in a language like Portuguese, especially when you're starting from scratch. When you are in intermediate level, it's fine to practice every day and to learn every single day. But in the beginning, if you go, for example, because it depends on what lesson. There are lessons that last 15 minutes. There are lessons to take 20 minutes. So it depends. And my course is organized in a very wise way. For example, imagine section 2, you have a pronunciation lesson, grammar lesson, vocabulary lesson. You never have 2 pronunciation lessons in a row, so it doesn't mess up with your brain, or 2 grammar lessons, so you don't get overwhelmed with the amount of grammar. And you get always exercises in between. So I suggest finish as a beginner 1 section, see how it goes. If you're feeling that it was too much, rest the following day. If you think it's good and it's solid, move on to the following day, and then you rest in the weekend, for example. And like this, it will take you, I don't know, let me see. So the beginner's course I would say 2 months, and then the intermediate 1.5, and the advanced is a bit longer because in the advanced course is really like more extended as the previous ones. It's really well done in a way. You have all the grammar from C1 level and all the practice from C2 level in speaking and listening. So I would say 6 months if you want to do it with time. And then once again, as my courses are, you have lifetime access, you can redo it. So there is no rush unless you want to rush. So it depends. It depends from student to student, of course. It's hard to say, oh, it's going to take you 4 months. It's going to take you 6 months. Because once again, it depends on your availability and how you feel. So guys, if you also get the courses, you have these bonuses. These are things I normally create and I sell in Teachers Pay Teachers on TPT for other teachers to use in their classroom environments, but I'm giving it for you totally for free. Some flashcards with the 50 most common adjectives in Portuguese, and the PDF with the 50 common words in Portuguese as well. So here's the QR code. Open the page, see how it looks like. I suggest that you look at the 4th video of each course to see the full curriculum, so you guys see everything that it's going to be mentioned in the course. All right. And again, any question, tell me, text me, send me an email. I'll be very happy to answer. Instagram, Portuguese with Anita, Facebook, Portuguese with Anita. So in all platforms, I'm there. I always answer every single message, me or my team. We're always there available for you. So drop your questions. Feel free to ask any questions and your concerns. and I will answer for sure. All right. I don't know if there is any questions there in the audience.
No, just some thank yous for your time. And
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Okay. How do we say thank you in Portuguese, guys?
muito
Let's see.
obrigada.
Muito obrigada if you are a woman. Obrigada if you are a man. Obrigado. It was a pleasure to be here tonight, guys. So I hope that you take advantage of this special offer, because once again, in my normal launches, which by the way, on my social media is going to open tomorrow, and the normal price of my courses is $297. So this is a pretty good deal that we prepared specially for your audience. And yeah, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Yeah, no, thank you, Anita. I really appreciate it. I think those were some really good tips, and I even learned some things that I didn't know, even though I knew some of those words already. So that was great. So we're just gonna close it out here real quick with the last note that if you enjoyed this webinar and you found the information useful, if you please consider becoming a PALCUS member so that we can continue doing these webinars for our community. It's only $50 a year to join the organization, and believe it or not, it actually helps us run these programs continuously throughout the year. And so with that, we'll just say, oh, and then I think I have a benefits of becoming a PALCUS member, because everyone always says, well, what's in it for me? So you get newsletters, you can be featured as our member spotlight. You can get a priority feature in our business network newsletter. We actually have our own language discussion groups that we host every other week. There's members only events. You get some free swag when you join. Plus, you're supporting a good cause. We're the only national organization serving Portuguese Americans, and it enables us to continue hosting events like this for the community. So go online to palcus.org and join today. We'd really appreciate it. And with that, I'll say obrigada. I say obrigada. We'll say obrigado for the rest. And até a próxima.
Até a
Until next
próxima.
time.
Foi um
Até
prazer.
logo.
Até
And
logo.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye-bye.